Hey there, welcome back to my channel where today I'm going to be looking at some of your unpopular opinions. This is the second video I'm doing on this topic because there were so many comments in my last video, which I can card above for you guys. More unpopular opinions. I thought we should do a volume 2. I'm also going to be playing with the Flora Story palette from Udenzai. If you're interested in seeing that, don't go anywhere. This is going to be a bit of a chatty get ready with me, so I'm going to actually do some face makeup. This is my Catrice foundation. It's linked below. Everything is linked in the description box. And again, I had put this question up on my community tab and then also in my Instagram poll. And I had said, it's an unpopular opinion, but I dislike, and had you guys fill in the blank. So I did this video before and it was really fun. And I had a couple of opinions in there that weren't makeup related, but then most were. And I really had no preference. I mean, if you wanted to talk about something that wasn't makeup related, that's great. In fact, I think we talked about musical theater and it was a lot of fun. But I think today's video results are, I think they're all makeup related. So that's what today's going to be about. And it's going to be a good time. Let me put my hair back. It's getting in my way. I have a decent amount of postpartum hair loss. So all this front hair has fallen out. And then every time I brush my hair, I just get large quantities that come out. It's a thing. It's okay. Totally worth it. Okay, I'm going to put on something on my lips. This is ColourPop lip oil in the shade Paper Pansy. My lips get kind of dry, and ordinarily I put on some chapstick or like just a juicy sort of lip balm. I'm priming with the Glam Light Primer. This is the shade Buttercream. The first answer is from Christy Hudson, 2760. She said, "Oh, you meant unpopular opinions about makeup." This was a comment in my last video. And she said, "I did not follow the directions. Then my makeup unpopular opinion is that it almost always looks silly when lips are overlined. I'm sure there's an exception to that somewhere. I just haven't seen it yet." I had a similar comment from It's Marzipan on Instagram. She said, "Overlined lips, LOL." And then Kerry K also started her comment with the super overlined lips. All right, so overlined lips. I agree with you guys. I really do. I don't understand the trend of ridiculously large lips. Like I get full lips. Full lips are nice. They're attractive. They're appealing. But people are going crazy with the overlined lips. Now I'm even seeing that in addition to lip injections and cosmetic surgery where they have things added and their lips are significantly fuller and then they overline them even more. I don't really understand the trend because it just looks disproportionate. Like now you just look like a Bratz doll. Is that the goal? Kerry K said, "A ridiculous amount of contour using thick, cakey layer upon layer of products." Okay, before I forget, Kerry has her own YouTube channel. It's much bigger than mine and I do subscribe to it, so I definitely recommend you check her out. Her videos are great and she's a really sweet girl. With a B4 brush from Blend Bunny, I'm taking the shade Orchid in this Flora Story palette. And I'm going to lay this in my outer crease and corner. So, a ridiculous amount of contour. I get it in theory, like if you don't like the way that your face looks, you can use contouring to essentially create a new shape visually. And it is really amazing. People can do fascinating stuff with makeup, honestly. I just feel like at some point it gets to be too much. Like, guys, this is not what you look like. Why are you trying to change who you are as fundamentally as your bone structure? I don't know. I mean, I mentioned that in a video some time ago, and somebody commented that wasn't I doing the same thing with my eye makeup because I would do the cat eye shape. I think that's a valid point. A ridiculous amount of contour, though, just ends up looking so artificial, much like the overlined lips. It gets to be too much where the person doesn't look like a person anymore. They look like a machine or a robot. If you look at a person and they are too symmetrical, it is really the imperfections and the slight variations that make a person's face interesting. I mean, I realized when I started doing eyeshadow and I started doing close-ups of my face that my eyes are uneven. And my ears are uneven for that matter. When I talk, one side of my mouth goes up higher than the other side. These are the things that make a person visually interesting. So if I put so much contour on my face that I no longer look like myself, same brush into the shade Azalea, it's just too far. And there's also a big difference between what you see online in a YouTube video or Instagram makeup, but then you see them in real life, maybe in grocery store lighting that casts weird shadows, or outside in bright sunlight where it hits everything from all angles and you're like, whoa. Because then you realize how much, and this plays into Kerry's second comment, how much makeup they're wearing, how many layers, and it's just too much. I think it's important to accept what you look like. I mean, maybe take cosmetics or nice clothes or jewelry or whatnot and play it up a little bit, you know, accentuate the parts of you that you like the most. I don't think there's anything wrong with that per se, but it's really easy to go overboard. Dawn Busco 309, I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. She said, heavy lash extensions, aka spider eyes. Haha, yes. This is something I see all over Instagram. And it seems to be that they are more designed for the gram, for photography, because the eye looks so cool when you have these heavy extensions. And sometimes I'm seeing different colored lashes, you know, like a brown lashes, but then these little pops of green and they go with a green eye look, or even things like crystals and gems added onto the lashes. It's getting nuts. And it looks so amazing in photographs, but for real life application, can you imagine wearing eyelashes like that? There's a restaurant near us that we'll go to sometimes for breakfast, and there are several waitresses there who wear false eyelashes. One of the women, actually, no, two of them, I can literally see her eyelashes from across the room. And of course, eyelashes are something I've never personally tried. I'm learning that there is a lot of variety within eyelashes. You could have really soft, wispy, light lashes. You could have half lashes. You could have crazy, wild lashes. And then you see like an Instagram reel where a woman's wearing eyelashes that are this thick and you can't even see her eye for the eyelashes. It's the thing. I didn't realize the market or the industry of eyelashes until recently, actually. But I do agree that the really big ones tend to look like bugs crawling off your face, and that's kind of creepy. Danielle Zadora 7637, she posted as a comment in my original video and also as a secondary comment in my next poll. She said, mixing warm and cool tones. Some can pull it off, but I just can't do it. And then her other comment was, love a part 2 to this vid. My unpopular opinion is mixing super warm and cool tones for eyeshadow. I'm sure there are exceptions, but when I do it, it looks like a big ol' mess, lol. Well, let's see how I feel about that. With these two palettes to create this eyeshadow look, a little bit of warm tones and some cool tones, some pink and orange, a couple of palettes from Udenzai. Doing this eyeshadow look, a little bit of warm, a little bit of cool, got some interesting pops of color going on. If you want, this look started out really warm with the brown and the orange. Then it went cool with this minty green. And now we're back into more warm tones with these strange greens on the lower lash line. This eyeshadow look using these two palettes. If you want to see how I did it, then just don't go anywhere. Today I'm doing this eyeshadow look using the Saga of Freya Cat's Breath palette from Udenzai. My content. I hope you like the video. I hope you like the eyeshadow look. You have to let me know down in the comments what do you think of the look, what do you think of the color. I never used to be comfortable combining warm tones with cool tones. Now I'm to the point where I can blend out a cool toned blue green teal shade with a warm toned yellow, and it does. I'm loving the contrast between warm and cool tones. I adore it. Anyway, thank you so much for hanging out with me, for clicking on my video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you liked the look. I love mixing warm and cool tones. I think it is so fun. The different temperatures and depths make the look more interesting. It brings sort of a different level of interest. It makes the looks more visually intriguing, and I like that. So Danielle, I hope that you can maybe play with it more. If you like the idea of it, then play around until you find a way to do it that works for you, your style, your preferences, your colors, like in your undertones. It can be a really fun thing to do. Simply Pearly said, pressed glitter, they are messy. And then Kerry commented on that remark. She said, and usually not eye safe and super cheap and actually look awful 99% of the time as you can't apply them evenly. I completely agree with all of this. Pressed glitters, I've had them in a few palettes and I haven't ever liked them. I agree, they look cheap. They look kind of gritty. They're not appealing to work with because they have a nasty, unpleasant texture that feels wrong on the sensitive skin of your eyelids. They tend to look kind of tacky. You might see glitter in less than savory applications. And yeah, I absolutely agree with both of you ladies. Pressed glitters are a total turnoff for me. I have actually not bought palettes, which I really wanted, once I found out that they had pressed glitters in them. I think that the brands are starting to listen to the consumers. Most consumers don't want pressed glitters. It's fine if you do. And in that case, I would say for the brand to just put out a separate palette that is beautiful pressed glitters for the customer who wants them. But generally, on the whole, most palettes don't have pressed glitters in them these days, except the cheap ones. And I think it's better that way. This is looking really pretty. I may take a deeper matte from the Planet Spirit palette and sort of bridge this gap a little bit. But let's talk about multi-chromes now. In the Flora Story palette, the multi-chrome is called Dawn. And it is this one right here, which is gold, green. I see a lot of gold, greens, very pearlescent topper shade. And then in the Planet Spirit palette is a shade called Fauna, which has a lot more pink in it. So I'm trying to decide what contrast and color story I want here for this look. I like contrast, so I definitely want something lighter on the inner corner to work into these darker shadows. I think I will actually stay in Flora Story for this part. I'll take the shade Dawn. I'm gonna put it on a flat brush and see how it performs. The next comment is from Melina Martinez. She said, love this idea for a video. My unpopular opinion would be, when new makeup comes out, most influencers hype it up so much like it's the best thing ever, and then when they bring up their end of the month reviews, they say how much they disliked the product they hyped up earlier, etc. Yes. This is annoying for me too, because sometimes you buy a product based off of a content creator's review. And if you buy it because they said it was amazing and then you get it in, and honestly, whether or not you're enjoying it, if they come back later and they go, yeah, well, that one was actually just okay, it's kind of annoying, quite frankly. I mean, you might love it and you just then disagree with them, and that's fine. Or you might not love it and you've already put out your money. And sometimes content creators receive things in PR. Sometimes they're getting stuff for free, so they're not financially invested the way that an ordinary consumer is. So if you're buying something based off of their recommendation and then later they back up on it, not cool. Here is the shade Dawn. I sprayed it and I'm going to lay it down at my inner corner and work it into this pretty tealy shimmer. See, that gives me some nice contrast. The reason I chose this one instead of the one with pink in it is because I thought the pink would blend in too much with the purple and then I wouldn't have the contrast. So this gives me a little bit of pink. I mean, it does have some pink in it, but it also has some green and some gold, and it's nice. This is a good topper shade. The formula is extremely light, so I could spray it all across my lid, but I think I'm just going to blend it into the green and then leave a section of the blue-green untouched so that there is more of a delineation between the colors. I'm going to take a small brush. This is B2 from Blend Bunny and dip into the shade Azalea again. I'm just going to run this on my whole lower lash line, I think. I decided I do want to bridge the gap between this teal shimmer and the purple matte, but very, very lightly. I'm taking my flat brush and going into Planet Spirit and grabbing Kindred. If you don't have the Planet Spirit palette, you absolutely don't have to do this. I mean, this is the look using just Flora Story, and it is pretty. I just want to morph these two formulas together a little bit. Amy Baker said, inner corner highlight. How do you keep it in place all day without it migrating in the tear duct of your eyes, creating gunky eye stuff? Danielle responded, I tried a trick I learned recently from Tati. Instead of powder shadow, try a liquid. It actually works. Amy responded, ooh, thanks for the tip. And then I wrote, thanks for the tip, Danielle. Okay, so let's do inner corner highlight while we're talking about this. I am going to grab a small blending brush. This is quite small, and I'm going into Dawn again, and I will spray this. I personally have never tried to use a liquid or even cream eyeshadow as an inner corner highlight. I always put eye primer all over my lid, and I make sure that I do reach the inner corner as well as my lower lash line for any shadows that I might apply in those spaces. I would also say be careful where you're putting it, because you don't need to necessarily put it right here where the upper and lower lids actually meet. You could put it more on the skin space next to that, and then it never touches the viscous area of your eye itself. It's only on the skin, so you might find that you avoid that problem by simply shifting your inner corner highlight a little bit away from the wetness of the eye and onto the skin next to it. But I think Danielle's tip is probably a good one. Again, I haven't personally tried it, but it makes sense that a liquid or maybe even a cream eyeshadow would stay in place better, because there's less of a contrast between the wetness of your eye and like a powder product that gets into it and flakes around. I don't know. It's definitely worth trying. So thanks, Danielle, for reading the comments and pitching in. I appreciate it. I always love it when my subscribers comment on other comments. You guys are relating to one another, and there's this little community. It's very cool. As far as I know, those are all the comments I got for this video. So I'm going to throw white in my waterline, go off camera, finish the other side up, and I'll be right back to close out this video. All said and done, this look may have saved the Flora Story palette in my collection. This is really beautiful, and I've said each time I've talked about this palette that some of the mattes look really dusty on me. This matte is the exception, and this is a nice matte to blend out this one. So I might end up keeping this because I think this is really beautiful, and I realized after the fact that I never needed to dip into Planet Spirit at all because there's a purple shimmer in this palette. I don't know why I didn't notice it before. You can do this entire look with the Flora Story palette, and it's beautiful. I did put white in my waterline, but I didn't love the way that it looked, so I took a dark purple. This is the shade Champs from ColourPop, and I just dabbed it right on top of the white, and now I have a light purple waterline. On my lips, I topped the lip oil with a NYX Butter Gloss in the shade Eclair, and then on my face, I have the Aurora Glow Kit from Anastasia Beverly Hills, and I grabbed this purple shade called Spectra. I don't know if you can see that at all. My lighting is never amazing, and I put on so little face product that I mean, maybe if you were looking at me face to face, you would see those slight glows, but other than that, you probably don't pick up most of it on the camera. Anyway, I have winged eyeliner and mascara, and that is everything. I think this look is really beautiful. I really think it's beautiful, and I'm excited about it because I have been so unenthused by the Flora Story palette. I had used it twice before, and I really liked the multi-chrome. I really liked the green, like the light green shimmer, but I hadn't used the other shades. And I guess that's really my bad. This is a perfect example of why people shouldn't review their palettes or give final thoughts after only having used them once or twice, because you don't really get a great idea of the versatility of a palette if you've just used it once or twice. You really should put more time into using the product before you give it an official final thoughts. I think I've been guilty of that a few times in the past, but this Flora Story palette may end up staying in my collection longer than I thought, as long as I avoid those more dusty tones or don't make them the prominent tones of the look. This is really beautiful and is definitely more up my alley. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I hope you like the eye look. Let me know in the comments what you think. Thank you so much for everybody who contributed comments to either my Instagram poll, my community poll, or just comments in my previous video, which again is carded above for you if you're curious. The Unpopular Opinions Take 1. This is so much fun. I very much enjoy interacting with you all in the comments of my channel, hearing your perspectives and thoughts. It is so much fun. I really enjoy this community. Thank you very much for being with me here today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Remember to like and subscribe if you want to see more, and I'll see you again very soon. Bye!